Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Welcome to One Truth, and thank you for joining me today. And here we will keep you motivated and encouraged. We are going through Adventist Home, and we are under the subtitle, Husbands to be Considerate. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and give us a like. Without wasting much time, we sit on the subject. Husbands to be considerate. Husbands should be careful, attentive, constant, faithful, and compassionate. They should manifest love and sympathy. If they fulfill the words of Christ, their love will not be of a base, earthly, sensual character that will lead to the destruction of their own bodies and bring upon their wives debility and disease. They will not indulge in the gratification of base passions while ringing in the ears of their wives. They must be subject to the husband in everything. When the husband has the nobility of character, purity of heart, elevation of mind that every true Christian must possess, it will be made manifest in the marriage relation. If he has the mind of Christ, he will not be a destroyer of the body, but will be full of tender love, seeking to reach the highest standard in Christ. This is very deep. When doubts creep in. What do we have under this subtitle? No man can truly love his wife when she will patiently submit to become his slave and minister to his depraved passions. In her passive submission, she loses the value she once possessed in his eyes. He sees her dragged down from everything, elevating to a low level, and soon he suspects that she will as tamely submit to be degraded by another as by himself. He doubts her constance and purity, tires of her, and seeks new objects to arouse and intensify his hellish passions. The law of God is not regarded. These men are worse than brutes. They are demons in human form. They are unacquainted with the elevating, ennobling principles of true sanctified love. The wife also becomes jealous of the husband and suspects that if opportunity should offer, he would just as readily pay his addresses to another as to her. She says that he is not controlled by conscience or the fear of God. All these sanctified barriers are broken down by lustful passions. All that is godlike in the husband is made the servant of low, brutish lust. The problem of unreasonable demands. There are many times that the husbands, they expect a lot from their wives. And also likewise with the wives, they expect a lot from their husbands. So what does Adventist Home has to say looking at the problem of unreasonable demands? The matter now to be settled is, shall the wife feel bound to yield implicitly to the demands of a husband when she sees that nothing but the base passions control him, and when her reason and judgment are convinced that she does it to the injury of her body, which God has enjoined upon her to possess in sanctification and honor, to preserve as a living sacrifice to God? It is not pure, holy love which leads the wife to gratify the animal propensities of her husband at the expense of health and life. If she possesses true love and wisdom, she will seek to divert his mind from the gratification of lustful passions to high and spiritual themes by dwelling upon interesting spiritual subjects. It may be necessary to humbly and affectionately urge, even at the risk of his displeasure, that she cannot debase her body by yielding to sexual excess. She should, in a tender, kind manner, remind him that God has the first and highest claim upon her entire being. and that she cannot disregard this claim, for she will be held accountable in the great day of God. If she will elevate her affections and in sanctification and honor preserve her refined womanly dignity, women can do much by her judicious influence to sanctify her husband and thus fulfill her high mission. In so doing, she can save both the husband and herself, thus performing a double work. In this matter, so delicate and so difficult to manage, much wisdom and patience are necessary, as well as moral courage and fortitude. Strength and grace can be found in prayer. Sincere love is to be the ruling principle of the heart. Love to God and love to the husband can alone be the right ground of action. When the wife yields her body and mind to the control of her husband, being passive to his will in all things, sacrificing her conscience, her dignity, and even her identity, she loses the opportunity of exacting that might influence for good, which she should possess to elevate her husband. She could soften his stern nature, and her sanctifying influence could be exacted in a manner to refine and purify, leading him to strive earnestly to govern his passions and be more spiritually minded, that they might be partakers together of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. The power of influence can be great to lead the mind to high and noble themes, above the low sensual indulgences for which the heart, unrenewed by grace, naturally seeks. If the wife feels that in order to please her husband, she must come down to his standard, when animal passion is the principal basis of his love and controls his actions, she displeases God. For she fails to exert a sanctifying influence upon her husband. If she feels that she must submit to his animal passions without a weight of remonstrance, she does not understand her duty to him nor to her God. Our bodies, a purchased possession. What do we have under the subtitle? The lower passions have their seat in the body and work through it. The words flesh or fleshly or carnal embrace the lower corrupt nature. The flesh of itself cannot act contrary to the will of God. We are commanded to crucify the flesh with the affections and lusts. How shall we do it? Shall we inflict pain on the body? No, but put to death the temptation to sin. The corrupt thought is to be expelled. Every thought is to be brought into captivity to Jesus Christ. All animal propensities are to be subjected to the higher powers of the soul. The love of God must reign supreme. Christ must occupy an undivided throne. Our bodies are to be regarded as his purchased possession. The members of the body are to become the instruments of righteousness. Where shall the home be? And what guiding principles in choosing the location should be exercised? This is what we are going to cover on the next presentation. And make sure that you do subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and give us a like. We will really appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. God bless.